It's Sunday, December 15th, 2024. Welcome. We're in Studio C6, 30-minute rental, so I'll talk fast. I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today, Mr.
Sure, very good, very good.
You're looking well. I see you got a new sweatshirt and pants today. Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100. He's right around the corner of 100 years old. Interesting facts. Mr. Jeckovich could read the newspapers with no glasses. His mind is very sharp, that of a 30 or 40-year-old, correct?
All right.
Sharp as a tack. He reads two or three newspapers daily and is in excellent shape. Mr. Jeckovich never took a prescription in his life, not even a baby aspirin. He jogged for 80 years. And did you smoke?
No.
Did you drink?
No.
And what other aspects could you contribute to your longevity?
The genes.
How long did your father live to?
43.
And your mother?
89.
And you're knocking on the door of 100?
Yeah.
I'll be damned. Before I start reading, in order to open up the laptop, I'll need your dog tag number.
42965.
Beautiful. That is absolutely wonderful. How many years have you been retired for?
1980.
So you've retired 45 years?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Are you thinking about going back to work, like you said? I mean, you're going to write another book, right?
No, yeah.
But right now, for the last 2 years, Mr. Jeckovich has been in one of our studios and recording different things from his book about World War II and how life back was in the 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting book, and it's given people an idea that might have forgot about World War II, what it was all about. I get 10 questions a day, is where can they buy your book at?
You can't.
You can't. It'll never be for sale. It has never been sold. And they have original copy at the World War II Museum in New Orleans. We're working on a permanent booth for Mr. Jeckovich now. It'll be AI generated. It's very expensive and very time consuming to produce, but once it's finished, you'll be able to see Mr. Jeckovich 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. You can ask him a question and the AI will pick up with the answer. We're plugging most of these 390 podcasts into the AI system with Mr. Jeckovich's voice. It's an interesting fact why we asked Mr. Jeckovich why and if he ever smoked. It's because the Red Cross in World War II, what would they do?
They put packages of cigarettes in the packages for the soldiers.
The Red Cross would pass out cigarettes unfiltered like candy. What were some of the brands?
Pall Mall, Chesterfield, Lucky Strike.
Yeah, they'd pass them out like candy. When you went to a hospital, you got passed out like candy, the cigarettes. And also, when Mr. Jeckovich was finally being released from the service, it was on a point system. After the war was over, of course, his barracks were tents. And what were the tents named after?
Cities, New York, Philadelphia.
And then also cigarettes on the other side.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting fact.
5 minutes.
So if the war didn't kill you as a young man, 20 years later the cigarettes got you.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of those boys were smoking every day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're smoking now.
Yeah, but even then, when they were passing out the packs of cigarette like candy, I imagine there was just lots of boredom in the front lines of the war.
Yeah.
And there's in the world today we have over 7 billion people. 7 billion people, and you're looking at one of them. There are 6,000 fighting World War II vets left. Right here's one of them. We have 7 billion people in the world. There's only 6,000 fighting World War II vets. These are front line. These weren't rear echelon. What was rear echelon?
Rear echelon was supporting troops, supporting the people up in front.
Yeah, even though they weren't on the front line, they still had an important job.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't have they still had an important job. Let me read what Mr. Jeckovich says about some of the rear echelon. The rear echelon. Some of them were named the Red Ball Express. Large armies on the move. Your fighting was fluid. You're always on the move, right?
Yeah.
Always. You'd have your machine gun nest set up. You'd blow off 500, 1,000 rounds, and then you'd pick it up and move.
Yeah.
So you guys were always on the move.
Yeah.
And if you weren't on the move, what would happen?
Well, they zero in on you.
And they kill you. Large armies on the move and need constant source of supplies. They need food. This is all rear echelon Mr. Jeckovich is talking about. They need food, fuel, ammunition, replacement clothing, and medicine. As General Patton planned his march through France and then on to Germany, an essential element was the establishment of a trucking operation. That trucking operation was big, right?
Yeah, that was the Red Ball Express.
Yeah. On August 21st, 1944, now this is like 4 months before the Battle of Bulge, the Red Ball Express was founded. The code name given by the Army Transportation Corps was Red Ball.
Red Ball.
Referred to the railroad system for express freight. The supply routes were expected to be clear of civilian traffic, but trucks could not zip along at high speeds. All the roads were poor, right?
Yeah.
The roads were poor and narrow. Drivers hoped to maintain a speed of 25 miles per hour. That's if they're lucky, because the roads were so bad. And were instructed to keep 60 yards between trucks. That's a long distance between trucks. And all these trucks are heavily armed.
Yeah.
They weren't going to let no Germans get their hand on their supplies. They're heavily armed. As at the distance, if a bomb fell, perhaps only 1 or 2 trucks would be lost. So the Germans hit them up with a bomb, they lose 2 trucks, but they don't lose the whole shebang.
Yeah.
At night, a blackout was in force. Trucks could use only cat eyes. Cat eyes was a very important term, were headlight covers that just allowed a slit of light enough to shine through. So all the trucks at night had cat eyes on them to make only a tiny slit, approximately 1 inch, to the headlight to work. All the rest was covered.
Yeah.
As many as 900 trucks, could you imagine? As many as 900 trucks were on the road at the same time, making round trips of 54 hours. It was 350 miles to Patton's Third Army away from St. Lo in Normandy. When General Patton said for you to be there, you were there if you had to drive all day and night.
Yeah.
Patton said, you'll be there.
Yeah.
What was Patton's nickname?
Golden Guts.
And how does that stand?
His guts are out blood.
21 minutes.
Was that a common term amongst the soldiers? Was Patton being told that a lot, or no one told him to his face?
Yeah.
Did they tell that to his face or no?
Oh.
No, he didn't know, right?
No.
No. So that was the kind of behind the scene amongst the infantry. When General Patton said, you better be there, you weren't there if you had to drive all day and night. If those trucks break down, we'd fix them, they'd fix them and run them again. When the trucks broke down, of course, with 900 trucks, some are going to break down.
Yeah.
Especially with the condition of the roads, the weather, everything under the sun.
Well, they had mechanics with them.
Yeah, but they was heavily armed. When those trucks are getting fixed on the side of the road, they had machine guns all around them. Because they didn't want to give them up to the Germans. Nearly 75% of the drivers were African American, even though most black soldiers were not were relegated to behind the scene jobs. At that time, this unique group was essential to the front lines. During an 82 mission, The Red Ball drivers delivered 412,000 tons of supplies. Could you imagine that?
That's day and night, day and night.
Day and night, 900 trucks. Wow. 412,000 tons. You imagine
They
that?
were all black troops driving them too.
Yeah. Damn. We have a hard time delivering 50 pounds of groceries somewhere today. With the reconstruction of the French railroad lines, the need for Red Ball Express diminished. So once the French got the trains back operating, it kind of slowed down the use of the Red Ball Express. Because now they're on trains, which are very heavily guarded.
Yeah.
Very heavily guarded. November 16, 1944, however, many of its drivers went on to help Patton turn his 13th Army towards Bastogne and the Battle of Bulge. So many of the African Americans that were driving the 900 trucks, once the French trains started again to bring in the troop supplies, those men were pushed over, the African Americans were pushed over to Bastogne infantry and Battle of Bulge infantry. So they played a very instrumental part. They played a very instrumental part. It's amazing. Were you familiar with the Eagle's Nest? Were you ever at the Eagle's Nest?
No, no.
You never made the, but you knew about the Eagle's Nest, right?
Yeah. It was up with the mountain,
But you seen that one time. Yeah, Mr. Jeckovich says the Eagle's Nest was on the Führer's 50th birthday. Well, you see Adolf Hitler, he looks damn old, but he was only in his 50s when he kicked the bucket. 50s, only in the 50s. He looked old, didn't he? He was worn out. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't eat, he couldn't do nothing. His body was shot. His body was shot. And he was supposed to be the elite race. Elite race of hypochondriacs. The Nazi government hired 4,000 workers to build the mountaintop chateau for them. They hired 4,000 workers. Could you imagine the craftsmen there? Jeez. The lavish building was meant for Adolf Hitler's receptions as well as Hitler's private enjoyment. So all these young Nazis, 17, 16, are living in filth, and he's got the lap of luxury at the Eagle's Nest. Could you imagine? The nearest village, Berchtesgaden, is where Hitler wrote the second volume of his autobiography, Mein Kampf, or basically converted to English, which would mean My Struggle. I wish he had more struggles, much more serious, so he never had to start this damn World War II. Several of his closest advisors also had homes in the area, so his top brass all had homes around the Eagle's Nest. Visitors approach the Eagle's Nest by the way of a twisting road passing through 5 tunnels cut out of the mountain. Could you imagine the expense of cutting 5 tunnels through a mountain? That's the only way you could get to the Eagle's Nest, right?
And they didn't have the equipment they have today.
No, this is all hand slave labor. From the parking area, a tunnel into the rock-faced led to an elevator that took them up to the final 400 feet. So this is a remote spot that he built the Eagle's Nest. You're not going to get there by no road. It's heavily guarded. There might be shown as a dining room that can seat 30, eat, and silverware engraved with Hitler's initials on it. What an arrogant piece of shit. A sociopath with no empathy. Even during the war, he would put initials on the silverware. An admired fireplace covered in red marble that had been presented to the Fuhrer by his ally Mussolini. Look how Mussolini and that greedy fat fucking pig. They hung his ass up in a parking lot, bare ass naked by his ankles, and beat the living shit out of him with sticks. Yes, they did. And Hitler was afraid that would be him. So he took the coward's way out and he blew his brains out. Hitler was afraid he was going to go down like Mussolini.
Yeah.
He was a brutal dictator, that Mussolini. The most frequent visitors to the house were Hitler's mistress, Eva Braun. The Fuhrer had an aversion to heights and regularly expressed concerns over the elevator safety. So now, amongst his hundreds of diseases Adolf Hitler had, he's now scared of heights.
Yeah.
But he's on the highest mountain in Germany. As the war came to the close, and millions of Americans and British troops were in Germany, the Eagle's Nest became a popular tourist attraction. So now he turned into a tourist attraction. Wow. As many as 3,000 visited each weekday, and 3 times that many on the weekends.
14 minutes.
Soldiers looted everything they could find and saved as souvenirs. So soldiers looted everything.
Yeah.
I guess what goes around comes around. How Hitler looted France when he was in high power.
Yeah.
Now he kicked a bucket and they all looting him.
Yeah, and taking the stuff that he loses.
Yeah. You can still find artifacts on eBay and Amazon that would come from the actual Eagle's Nest. They're still out there. Yeah, they're still out there. But he builds on the highest mountain, he's scared of heights. But the amount of paintings that they stole fill warehouses.
Yeah.
And they're, so not all of them are all covered. Yeah. Wow. So I'm on, let's see where the hell I'm at here. Okay, I'm getting close. So I'm on page 677. How many pages on this monster book?
895.
Oh hell. I'm not that far away.
I hope you got it all together.
Oh, I got it all together and some. So, Mr. Jeckovich was with Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, which it is, and today is a gift. So there you go. Mr. Jeckovich was beat up, shot up, stabbed, bombed, trench foot, frostbite.
I got frostbite right now.
You got frostbite right now, symptoms?
Yeah.
So every time the weather gets close, you get frostbite.
Yeah.
Symptoms. And that's 80 years ago.
Yeah, well, when the temperature drops, this thing drops too.
Wow. Not really much has changed in 80 years compared to politicians. When Hitler knew he was on his way out, he was living his last couple of months by the scorched earth theory. He wanted to destroy everything and everybody.
Yeah. He
And
didn't want to leave anything intact.
no. And he wanted to kill as many Americans as he could and destroy buildings in Berlin.
Yeah.
Anything that would be of value to anybody. But listen, 80 years later, we got this president in office now. He's basically doing the same thing, scorched earth theory. He's doing everything humanly possible to make this country a miserable place. Brings in millions and millions of criminal, illegal aliens.
Migrants and
He's living by scorched earth theory. He's getting us in trouble with Syria. Shouldn't even be there. And the list is so damn long, but he doesn't really care. But think about what the relationship between how Hitler, at the end of his few months, destroyed his own country that he supposedly loved. And this administration's doing the same thing. They're doing everything humanly possible to make it miserable for Americans, just to spite the incoming president. So his job is so difficult that it might be hard to do the things
Yeah.
he wanted to do. So it's 80 years later, we're still playing with the scorched earth theories.
What advice would you give Trump?
Minutes?
10.
What would your advice to a young person today at 17? You are going into the military. What would you tell them?
he's going into the military.
What advice do you give to a young male today, 17,
Keep your mouth shut and your eyes open.
to go in the military?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. 10 years ago, I'd say, I would agree with you, but now, there's so many young men, there's a lot of good young men, 17, 18, are good kids, but so many of them, their mothers have ruined. Their mothers ruined these kids. They made them into babies, and they don't know how to fend for themselves. They don't know how to earn money, they don't know how to work. So, some time ago I'd say, no, military's not the answer. But now that the mothers, in most cases, not all, in most cases screwed up these males so terribly bad, I would say the best thing to do is stick them in the service at 17, 18 for 4 years. And it'd be so helpful for their future life. They can become something with goals. But right now, what do? They sit on the couch. Mother jumps every time the kid's hungry. Mother jumps every time the kid needs money. Mother jumps when the kid's not feeling good. And these are basically grown men.
And some of the girls too,
Yeah.
are baby too.
But generally speaking, we're talking about men. Those are going to be the real fighters. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we need to get them into service. I never would be saying this, but now I see how weak. We see the greatest generation in front of us, and now we see how weak some of these kids are. You know, I don't understand. They have to get into service to find some discipline, to find some regiment. Because at home, they ain't doing jack shit. They ain't doing jack shit.
Yeah, they're not going to change either.
After the mother kicks the bucket, which she will, they'll all be on welfare, joining the crowds. But anyways, let's hope for the best. It's Christmas season.
8 minutes.
So we're not going to talk derogatory. We're being happy and in a good mood. And we're not going to say any negative things. And we're going to refrain from using foul language. We're going to be kind of like saints this next couple weeks, I think. But I'm sure that'll change. So here we go. You want me to start reading or you want to read?
Go ahead.
Was that, did you get a dog?
Huh?
Did you get a dog? Did you get a dog? I heard a dog. I heard a dog barking. Did you get a dog?
Did I get a dog? No, I never had a dog, no.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Wedding Jitters and a New Life, page 677, chapter 22. We embraced for several minutes, and then she gradually began to release her hold on me. I knew that we had once again arrived at a threshold. We had postured ourselves, and I relinquished my hold on her. She sat back looking out the windshield, which was covered with mist, partly obstructed by the view outside. After a while, she whispered that this was getting late and she would go in. I agreed, took her hand, and held her. She smiled and said, "Thank you for everything. I shall never forget it." She reached over and kissed me, and I was out the door before I could say anything. She turned and waved before she entered the house. I sounded the horn lightly, and then again. I heard the dog bark several times.
I remember that mistake was yesterday.
What the hell? You always had dogs of some type in your life.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these dogs for a minute. So every time you drop Delphine off, the dogs would bark.
Yeah.
Wake up the whole family,
Yeah.
12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
They couldn't put a muzzle on it, it just barked every night.
No.
And you never had a dog in your life.
No.
But dogs played such an important role in your life. Let's see. When you drop off Delphine, the dog would bark like crazy, wake up the household, and then when you got married to Delphine, you lived at 3063 Orleans Avenue, and right at your front side door, in the basement, a neighbor was running a dog salon.
We actually deal with dogs, yeah.
And you smelled the dogs. You see their hair blown all over the place.
Yeah, I told my mom, don't open the window down inside the bedroom because she's got blown paint right in your face. All that
So let me
crap.
try to understand this. Your side door where you would enter your house, right at the bottom, next to the side door where you enter your house, there was a basement which the window would be open, and a lady ran a business called Pampered Poodles, right?
Yeah.
And was that illegal to do? Run a cleaning dogs up, cutting dogs' hair?
Well, she didn't have a license, I don't
But you
think.
do anything you want back then, right?
Yeah. Every time the dog crapped out a sidewalk, she ran over and picked it up.
Oh, no. So even though you never had a dog, you certainly had a full share of dogs,
Yeah.
right? And did your neighbor across the street have a bunch of poodles too?
Hank and Lorraine?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a dog, yeah, they had a dog, yeah.
So even though you never owned a dog, you were basically surrounded.
Stevie had a dog. Pirosh.
So tell us that story.
Pirosh.
Tell us the story.
Well, when I went over there, Delphine, I used to go there for the summertime to visit him. You sit up in the patio, and you get the stench from the ground coming up through the patio, and then that dog would come up and stick his fat face right on the counter and start drooling. And Steve, I said, Steve, you better move that dog because John's getting attorney. That dog stays right where he is.
So that was your brother that said that,
Yeah,
Steve.
Uncle Stevie, yeah.
Now, you were sitting at the table trying to eat your cereal for breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And the dog came up, stuck his head right next to your cereal bowl.
And start drooling. He wanted to help me lick it. They love that dog.
So, well, do you remember what type of dog it was?
Huh?
Do you remember what type of dog it was?
No. What kind? He was a Hungarian boy. Hungarian boy.
Hungarian Vizsla, right?
Yeah, Hungarian Vizsla, yeah.
And Pirosh in Austria means red. Wasn't the dog short-haired red?
Yeah.
Wasn't it a hunting dog?
No, it was a picture dog.
So you had plenty of dog experiences,
Yeah.
but you never owned a dog.
No.
Did your wife want to bring the dog home when she got married?
No. Never thought about it. I don't think she cared for dogs anyway.
No?
No.
How about a cat? Have you ever owned a cat?
Well, we had a little cat when I was young. He got sick and I took him out in the field and buried him.
What was the cat's name?
Lucky.
Lucky. Wasn't that lucky that day, was it?
No. A cute cat though. Had a white
What
streak
happened to
right
him?
here. Huh?
Tell us how it looked. Wait, sorry to interrupt you. Tell us how the cat looked.
He had white chick over here, black skin. He had green eyes.
Oh, that's a beautiful cat. Where did you get it?
I think when my mother worked at Dr. Wright's house, they had the doctor, they wanted to get rid of it, and my mother said, well, we'll take the dog for her. I don't know why she wanted a dog. She never had a dog before in her life.
Cat.
Yeah, a cat, yeah.
And then, it wasn't just a kitten then, or was it a full-grown cat?
It was a full-grown cat, yeah.
And did you have it inside your house?
No, they kept it in the garage.
Kept it in the garage.
In the winter time, we put it down in the cellar. The cellar was warm. It had that big old furnace in there.
Okay, and so what did you name the cat?
Lucky.
And how did it die?
He died. I guess he got into something he ate and he upset his stomach, and he hemorrhaged his stomach, and then he died. Passed
Right
out.
on the spot.
Yeah.
Where'd you bury him?
The field across the street was empty. You could see, from my porch, you could see the stadium at Hyde Park.
Uh-huh.
So I took him out there and spot it, and they dug a hole, a big hole. They covered it up with plastic, put him in there, and that was it.
Okay. Was your mother very upset?
Well, she was upset, yeah, but she got over it. She wasn't that much of a dog lover anyway.
Cat lover, yeah. So that was about the only pet you ever owned.
Yeah.
Minutes?
Minute and a half.
Huh?
Minute and a half.
Did you ever have any
We
aquariums?
had an aquarium, yeah. I think that was a fish aquarium I think I had. Yeah, that's a lot of work that damn aquarium. Had to do special food. You had to change that water every time because you couldn't put regular water in it, but you salt water, filthy water or something.
What kind of fish did you have?
Huh?
What kind of fish did you have? What kind of fish did you have in the aquarium?
Fish?
Yeah.
We had the regular routine fish. We went to the fish market. We went to those hobby shops that had fishes.
Okay.
And then we got Delphi liked this one. She liked this one with the green eyes and all that. So we got about 3 of them.
How long did the fish last?
Well, they lasted probably a year, and after that, we all got tired of them.
And then you took down the aquarium?
Yeah.
Wow, minutes?
We had a beautiful aquarium. It had pictures inside trees and everything.
You set it up yourself?
Yeah.
That sounds
10
nice.
seconds.
That sounds like, did you want an aquarium now?
No.
Too much. Too much.
It's too much now, yeah.